Well, changing the name was not a goal in itself. We started thinking 2 years ago about changing the business model and what we were doing as an advertising company. I created the company 20 years ago, and for a long time the business stayed about the same. Of course, there's been programmatic, new innovations, there's been the coming of social networks, there's been a lot of different changes on the market, but the basics of our business was the same. But what we realized 2 years ago is that it would probably change dramatically in the coming years, because we've been selling more and more advertising formats, more and more intrusive, at prices that were decreasing. So we were compensating the decrease of price by higher volumes, but in the end the victim was not the business, the victim was the user. And the user was the third player of the market. That was not only media buyers and media sellers, there was a third player that we forgot about, which is the user. And the users today says, no, I install an ad block and I don't want to see your ads because they're too intrusive. And this we realized 2 years ago, and that's why we started thinking about how can we change the way we design, imagine, sell ads so that the users will accept them again, and we have a business that can go for a nice future with growing patterns. So the rebranding is the final point of a change that occurred during the 2 past years. Historically, we were a sales house, and we still are for a part of our business. But 2 years ago, we started to create a company called Quantum, which is a native advertising company that bridges native advertising formats and programmatic technology, and which is unique, not only in Europe, but also in the world. So we launched Quantum 2 years ago, and now Quantum is more and more important in our revenue mix, and we've been growing, making it grow throughout Europe. And alongside with that, we developed AdMove, which is a mobile company based on geo-marketing information, who targets people only when we know where they are, to deliver them valuable information about the shops next to them, so that they know where to go shopping because they may have some incentive or coupons. And the third one is a technology that we developed that developed full screen video enabled by programmatic. So it's been 2 years of IT development, business development, and test and learn before we actually managed to get more than 50% of our global revenues with these 3 new products. When the majority of our revenues were coming from native, from geo-marketing on mobile, and from full screen video enabled dramatically, then we decided, okay, we have now to change the identity, because what we do and what we sell is different from what we did yesterday, because more than 50% of our revenues are coming from new stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, all the countries are changing names. AdUX is the name of the mother company, and under the umbrella of AdUX, which is meant to bridge advertising and user experience, we have 3 subsidiaries in each country and 3 product sets: Quantum, AdMove, and AdPulse for the video. Mm-hmm. We are today 250 people around 10 markets, and we're recruiting actively again since 1 year. So we are growing the team now since 12 months. No, we did a lot of acquisition in the past, but today we are more a technology company with technical platforms. And once the technical platforms and the product set is good, then you just need to roll it out and to scale it. And making acquisition can be disruptive because it means that we would acquire a company with a different technological set. So we don't need additional technology. We just need to deliver and to grow the business based on the recent technologies that we have developed for the 2 past years. So we won't do any M&A. We grow organically. You know, Quantum has been growing by more than 100% a year for the 2 past years. AdMove is growing also close to 100% a year for the 2 past years, and AdPulse, which is more recent, is growing very aggressively. So I think that we have a growth pattern which is a natural one. We don't need to feed it with acquisition. We have invested a lot of energy, time and money and teams to build those platforms. Out of the 250 people, we have roughly 40 IT developers working on the 3 products separately. And now that we have done that, we're just developing it on the market. That fits the growth. I think that the only companies that really took care about the user experience were the social networks. They were the one to change the game, because when you are on Facebook, Twitter, or whatever other platform like Snap, the ads are really integrated into the format, and by design they started doing specific format adapted to each of their platform. While other companies like ourselves in the past were displaying format that were standards and that were everywhere the same, not taking into account the website in itself or the mobile app. And I think that what led us to where we are today and what stimulated our thinking was to see how people were accepting ads on social networks while they were rejecting it outside the social networks. So I think that the main competition, but the main source of inspiration, comes from the social network. Now, bridging advertising and UX is a global move that started in the US something like 6 to 12 months ago. The New York Times stopped display, Forbes stopped display. The IAB in the US made some kind of apologies for not self-regulating the market about intrusive formats, and Google announced a few months ago that some mobile formats that are too intrusive would be harming the ranking of some sites if they were displaying too many of them. So I think that all the market and all the players are today ready to consider that we've been going too far as a market, and that we should reduce the advertising pressure on the users and find some better ways to do it. We are a technology company. We use that technology for our own sales, but it happens also that we can provide this technology for third parties that don't work with us for media sales, but only use our technology for their own sales purposes. Sometimes they are medias that we don't work with, and sometimes it's even competitors on the media side, or used to be ex-competitors that are not anymore because they become partners to who we sell our technology for platform. So Quantum was created in France in April 2014. It's been launched in Italy in September 15, in Belgium in November 15. We recently launched it in Spain at the end of last year. So Quantum is up and running on the Spanish market. And we're going to launch 2 new markets during 2017 in Europe as well, and maybe also in Latin America. And for AdMove, it's up and running in France since 2 years and a half, and it will be launched in Spain and in the other market in the second part of 2017. So starting from September and October, it will be launched in Spain, as well in Italy, as well in Belgium, as well in Germany, and in the other markets where we work. Yeah, Q3 showed that because of the dynamism of this new product that was compensating the decrease of the, I would say, traditional and display business, and for the first time in 2 years we were almost growing again. So we came from 2 difficult years where display business decreased, but now, because our new product set is growing very aggressively, we came to almost break even. And we're going to grow in 2017 in overall terms of revenue, and maybe quite more and more aggressively quarter after quarter.